Hello again, welcome back. These series of videos are going to walk through a solution for the challenges that were in the previous video. So the goal here is to create a list of cats and dogs, and we did that in the earlier video. We created an app that listed all the cats and dogs information, right? And what we'd like to do here, though, is put it into the list detail pattern, okay? So the list detail pattern is going to have a list view in this home component, and then tapping on one of those list cells is going to take us to a detail screen with information about the particular animal breed, okay? So to get started here, I think I'm going to start using the project that we're currently looking at here. Okay, so I'm going to start with that project, and I have it in this React navigation example. I have two copies of these, so I'm going to just use this one, right? And what we'll need to do is we'll need to get the cat and dog information. So you can go back to that previous video and do it, or go back to one of your other projects. But what we need is these two files here, the breed.js and cat and dog breed.json. So I'm going to copy those, and then I'll go to my folder here and I'll paste them. Okay, and now we need to set up our list view. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the home screen here. So now remember, the home screen is going to contain the list. So home screen is displayed by our stack navigator, and it is in the home screen component. So I'm going to go to the home screen component here. Maybe I'll move it up in front of the detail view, and I'll import the list view. Okay, so actually I want to get flat list is what I want. So I'll import flat list, and now I need to make the flat list here. And if I'm going to list everything, I need something to list. So I'm going to import, let's import something from, what is it? It's breeds. I think it's under breeds.js right here. So I'm going to choose that. And then I think I'll just get the cats because it's the shorter list. Okay, so I got the cats list here. And now what are we going to do? Let's set up our view. So, or set up our flat list. So I think I'm going to get rid of all this stuff, right? Because I don't need the text and I don't need the button, but I will need to make a cell that'll represent each row. So I don't have that yet, but let's do this. Let's set up the flat list. And then when we get this working, we can add a cell. So I've created the flat list. And remember, flat list has data, which is an array that we want to display. So I'm going to put cats there as the array. And then we need the, what is that thing called? Render. I think it's called render item, right? So we're going to say render item. Oops, I need to put these curly brackets here. And then if I recall, we get an object here that has an item and index, okay? And we want to return like the row in our list here. So I'm going to put return, and just for now, we'll put a text object in here just to keep things simple. And what are we going to render? So let's render, item.breed. Okay, so this will just be the breed name for the animal. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's all our list of animals, right? So I'm getting this scroll bar here, and the list is pretty narrow. So I have to make sure that this fills out to the whole space here. So could be a couple things, like this says flex of 1, so I know that this view is probably opening up to the whole page, but the flat list maybe isn't doing that. So maybe I got to tell flat list here, and it's probably going to be this list row too. I probably also have to say to expand, right? So let's say flat list, you're going to be style, and then, and again, you could move these styles into their own object down here, but maybe I'll just put them in as inline. So I'll say you're going to be flex of 1. That didn't do it. Let's see. What if we say width of 100%? Oh, there we go. right? So now you can just barely see the little scroll bar on the side, so I can see that this is taking up the whole space. And if I put a background color in there, that would kind of show it. But I think that this is working good right here, so I'll leave it like that. Now we need to worry about a cell. Okay, so my cell is not looking that great here. You know, it's just like a simple text item. Let's make an improved cell. So I'm going to make a new file and save it, and I'm going to call it cell.js. How about that? It's a pretty simple name. And then I'll import React from React. Oops. And then I'll make a function called cell. And maybe my cells will take in some props too. So I'm going to put the object here and deconstruct my props into name. All right, let's call it title. And before I forget, let's make sure we export default cell. And we can return, oh, I guess I got to import some React Native components too. So let's get the view and text from React Native, right? And then we'll return, return, and I'll put a view here with a text object inside it, right? And then we'll take our title right here and display it as the text. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad, right? And now we can import this cell into home screen and use it here as our render item, okay? And then I'm going to probably get an error or a warning unless I add a key, so a key prop. So I better put the the key extractor here. So let's import our, maybe I don't need that right now. Let's import our cell. So I'm going to get cell from ./cell. I called that call. Did I misspell that? Let's fix that. Cell, right? And then, yeah, so there we got cell there. And then here I want to render a cell. So I'm going to say cell. And remember, we gave the cell a prop. So I'm going to put the title prop here. And we can set this to item.breed. Okay? So that kind of looks the same there. So that's really good. Let's see here. Do we need navigation? We probably, oh yeah, we'll need the navigation later. But let's ignore that for now. Let's just worry about getting our cell set up, right? So I think the cell could use a little more work, right? Also, it's not tappable yet. Like I want to be able to tap on a cell, right, on one of the rows. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to swap this view right here for a touchable highlight, okay? So touchable highlight is, it's like a button, but rather than a button, it's like anything can be a button. So it's like a view that you can tap with your finger, right? So I'm going to use this in place of the view here, okay? So I'm just going to swap my view for the touchable highlight. So now I should be able to touch the cells. I don't have an on press yet, so maybe I'll add that in here. I'm going to say on press equals, and I'll put a function in here, right? And maybe for now I'll just put console log there, right? We'll catch up with this later, and we can just put hello in there, right? And now you can see when I tap on the row, I'm getting the cell, and that's kind of the highlight, or you know, it kind of inverts the color, and we can control that. There's some options for that, right? But for right now, we'll just leave it as it is, and you can kind of see that these are now touchable, but they're too small, right? No one would be able to touch those with their finger. And if we think about you know, mobile devices and user experience, like your finger's like a really big pointing device. It's like 40 pixels, right? So you know, these are obviously way too small to be tapped on with the finger, right? They're like 16 pixels tall or something. So let's give this a style, right? So I think we need to add some style here. So I'm going to put a style in there, and I'll make an object, and maybe I'll say, how about, let's add a little bit of padding, right? So I'll put a little padding on all sides. Let's make it padding of 10, right? So that's kind of a lot better, right? Okay. And now let's also make this text like a little bit bigger. So maybe on this text object here, I'll do the same thing. I'll add a style, and I'll set the font size to be a little bit larger. I'm guessing it's 16 right now. Oh, so I guess it was even a little smaller because it looks like the text got a little bit larger. I think that 16 is still pretty small, so let's make it like a little bit bigger, like 20. I think that looks like a pretty reasonable size, right? These rows are still a little bit small. Let's change this to padding. Let's change the padding here to 20. Maybe 20 is too big. Maybe that looks pretty good there, right? So maybe we'll hold on that, right? And we'll style this more a little bit, coming up, right? But this kind of got us started, right? Well, one more thing, right? So we're kind of in the ballpark here. Let's add one more thing. I'm going to go back to home screen, and let's take care of our key prop, okay? So remember, if you have a flat list, you have to give each item a key, and the flat list gives us a special property for that called key extractor, right? Oops. So I'm going to give this a function that will receive an item. So it'll be an item from our data, and then we're going to return a key. So for us, we just need to make sure the key is unique. So I'm going to return item.breed, and that should be good enough, right? And so that actually wasn't showing the warning, but that probably should have given me a warning because I didn't have this, but now that would get rid of the warning there. So I think that looks pretty good for now. So let's hold on this for this video, and then we'll continue in the next video. Or you can try it on your own. So your goal now is to get the cell to navigate to the detail view, okay? So get the cell, tapping the cell here with on press, we're going to navigate to the detail view. And in the detail screen, we'll want to pass the cat and dog data through route.params, okay, and then display it here, okay? So thanks for watching. Good luck with the challenge, and then you can compare your work to what I did in the next video, okay?